I'd like to call the September 17th, 2013 Finance Committee meeting to order. Chair would entertain a motion for the consideration of claims.
I would move for payment of claims in the amount of $360,819.33. A lawn credit card payment in the amount of $4,405.25. Manual checks to be written in the amount of $20,485. And checks written for payroll liabilities for 9/6/2013 in the amount of $414,637.99 for a total of $800,347.57.
And I will second that motion. Any questions on the bills?
I think I had one. Sorry. I can find it. Oh, yes. There's in the credit card, there was a bill to Dog's Life for $300. I was just kind of curious what that might be.
Let me pull it. Your Honor, we'll look it up.
Okay.
It's, what was it again for?
It's called a Dog's Life. It was $300. It's somewhere in Colorado.
Councilman, I think that's animal control items. I can't remember specifically what they purchased, but it was, I'm pretty sure there was something for, Sarah Lowe was purchasing something for the animal control function.
Okay. That's fair enough. It struck me as odd.
Yeah, that is.
That was my only question. Thank you.
Okay. And I have no other questions. So all those in favor of the approval of claims say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Do we have any other business for the finance meeting, Mr. Weaver?
No, we don't have any. I think in the last weekly update, I included the income statement. I don't know if you want me to send those to the entire council, so if you want to bring them to finance first and then send them to council, but I included that in the weekly report on Friday that just summarizes how much income we've gotten this since the beginning of the fiscal year.
I don't have a preference either way.
I don't either. I think it was good in the weekly reports.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if no other business, meeting adjourned.
Regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7 p.m. Would Councilman Baker lead us in the pledge, please?
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the city clerk please conduct a roll call?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilman Todd Smith.
Here.
Councilman Jonathan Fabian.
Here.
Councilman Rich Guard.
Here.
Councilman John Lars Baker.
Here.
Mayor Ron Warpness.
I'm present. The chair would entertain a motion to excuse council members Heiser and Christensen from the meetings tonight.
Your Honor, I would move that we excuse Councilman Heiser and Councilwoman Christensen from tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I declare that we have a quorum present this evening. Agenda item number 5, approval of the agenda. The chair would entertain a motion for the removal of the agenda. Item number 13, request from Chamber of Commerce for partial use of 422 East Main property.
Your Honor, I'd make the motion to remove item 13 from the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor votes aye. Communication from the floor, citizens' comments. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council regarding an item that is already on the agenda will be given an opportunity to speak later on. I would ask those individuals who wish to address the council at this time to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record.
Point of order, Your Honor. I believe we still need to
Oh, I'm
actually
sorry.
do the agenda itself. We just removed the item, but we didn't approve the agenda. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Your Honor, I would move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you, Councilman Fabian. Appreciate that. And now we'll have the communication from the floor, and having already read the introduction, I won't redo it. Is there anyone that would like to address the council this evening? If you could please speak into the microphone so those watching on television at home can pick you up.
My name's Solly Cadman, and I'd like to talk. Well, I'm the president of the Wyoming Modelers Park, and we'd like to talk about the 1281, the Ideal Inc., and the property that we presently use for our Modelers Park.
Okay.
I think most of you have been out there. Most of you have seen the Modelers Park and what we do out there. We do a lot of training for kids. We teach kids how to fly. We teach kids, the basics of all the forces involved in flight. Some theories on flight and stuff like that. So it's quite a bunch out there, and we want to kind of keep that as long as we can. And we're here kind of to back Idea Inc.'s proposal and the way they want to approach this. We worked with them before. They've done a great job for us in the past, and we think they can help us as Riverton grows and grows more north. They can help us find some other place, and I think they'll do us a better job. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council at this time? Okay. Would the city clerk please read the consent agenda item by title only, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Approval of the minutes September 3rd, 2013 regular council meeting. Approval of the minutes September 10th, 2013 council work session. Approval of the minutes September 17, 2013 finance committee meeting. Approval of finance committee recommendations for September 17th, 2013. And approval of the municipal court report for the month of August 2013.
Your Honor,
Yes.
it's the recommendation of the Finance Committee for the approval of claims to be paid in the amount of $360,819.33. Elan credit card in the amount of $4,405.25. Manual checks in the amount of $20,485. Checks written for payroll liabilities for September 6, 2013 in the amount of $414,637.99 for a total of $800,347.57.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda and the Finance Committee report.
Your Honor, I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Mayor votes aye. Motion passes. Mayor's proclamation, September 23rd, 2013, Family Day. Whereas the use of illegal and prescription drugs and the abuse of alcohol and nicotine constitute the greatest threats to the well-being of America's children, and whereas 15 years of surveys conducted by the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse, CASA, at Columbia University have consistently found that the more often children and teenagers eat dinner with their families, the less likely they are to smoke, drink, and use illegal drugs, and whereas frequent family dining is associated with lower rates of teen smoking, drinking, illegal drug use, and prescription drug abuse, and whereas the correlation between frequent family dinners and reduced risk for teen substance abuse is well documented, and whereas parents who are engaged in their children's lives through such activities as frequent family dinners are less likely to have children who abuse substances, and whereas family dinners have long constituted a substantial pillar of family life in America, now therefore be it resolved that I, Ronald O. Warpness, Mayor of the City of Riverton, do hereby proclaim Monday, September 23rd, 2013 as Family Day, a day to eat dinner with your children in the City of Riverton, and urge all citizens to recognize and participate in its observance. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Riverton to be affixed this 17th day of September 2013. Okay, thank you. This was a proclamation that was promulgated by Carol Mead out of Cheyenne, and we're delighted to support it. Having raised children, I know how important it is to spend time with your kids, and you learn a lot of things around the dinner table that if you don't have time to spend time with your children around the dinner table, well, you're missing out on a great part of their youth and growing up and training. So, okay. Agenda item number 9 is a public hearing and consideration of resolution number 1281, including the Contingency and Development Agreement, Idea Incorporated, BRC grant application for a business park. City Administrator's report, please.
Yes, Your Honor. In the past legislative session, Senator Bebout sponsored a bill making it easier to transfer land from the state of Wyoming into private hands. The legislation mandated that the Director of Office and State Lands and Investments, in consultation with directors from each affected institution, submit a report to the Board of Land Commissioners and the Joint Agricultural, State, and Public Lands and Water Resources Interim Committee by October 1st, 2013. Included in this packet is the section from the report related to the Honor Farm. So they completed it a little bit early. Each department was required to identify surplus property and determine the best use of the land. In the report, the best use determined by the Department of Lands for parcels 5 and 7 is commercial development. The city for a long time has been trying to figure out how to get the Honor Farm property into private lands for development. Idea Inc., acting as the official economic development entity for Riverton, decided to get the ball rolling with the state of Wyoming to get this property up for sale at a public auction. Idea Inc. is proposing to buy 302.18 acres of land between Walmart and Honor Farm Road, for which funds are being sought through the Business Ready Community Grant Program of the Wyoming Business Council. This resolution is required to be adopted by the City of Riverton supporting this application. The goal in this whole process is to get this property into private hands for development. Idea Inc. has started the process, and in the end, the property will be sold in a public auction. This gives everyone the opportunity that is interested to bid on the property. If a private developer gets the property instead of Idea Inc., then the goal has been reached. Just in ways of budget impacts that we discussed in our work session last time, the city will be administering the grant and will be responsible for all finances and drawdowns. In the past, the city would have to carry the money from the drawdowns. However, the Business Council allows the city to hold paying the contractor until after the money has been received by the Business Council if it's stated in the contract. This is the only way the city can accomplish all 3 of these grant applications that we have before us. I also wanted just to say that the city's not committing anything with this idea project of, water or sewer lines to be put into that particular parcel. We're strictly dealing with the grant right now. So we recommend that you adopt 1281 and authorize the mayor to sign the Contingency and Development Agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. The chair would entertain a motion for the public hearing regarding the consideration of this resolution.
Your Honor, I move that we open a public hearing on Resolution 1281
Second.
with regards to the Community Wyoming Business Council Business Park.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I now declare the public hearing is open. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes and other applicable laws. I would ask those individuals wishing to address the council to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record. Is there anyone that would like to speak on behalf of this time?
I'm Rich Hart, and I'm a member of the Modelers Park from the very beginning. And I was just drafted to come up and say something to you. So we have quite an operation out there. We have 40 active flying members and some car folk, and also included are the activities that we do with boating on the south side of town at one of the quarries. We have quite an investment that really has come from the community. There's over $200,000 invested in the runways, the car tracks, the shelters, just maintenance and those types of things. And the majority of that money has come from two sources: the District 25 Rec Board and the Fremont County Recreation Board. And we're very thankful for the support that they've given us. It is a very good place to have our activity. Part of the parcel, whether you know it or not, is a 7-acre federal wetlands. So if in fact on our parcel there was going to be any development, that there had to be a mitigation of those 7 acres of wetlands. That's one of the reasons why it's attractive to us, because we didn't need that area at all. So we have had discussions with Idea Inc. We think that their commitment to help us find an alternative location, if that would be necessary, is fine with us. We want to be good community partners, but it would be hard to replicate exactly what we have with today's dollars for the same amount or less. So we hope that as you look at the possibilities of this, you would support us in finding us a new home if that was necessary. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or not at all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding this issue?
Your Honor, members of the council, my name is Eddie Amend. I'm about a 25-year resident of the city, and with all modesty and responsibility, I admit that I am the founder and first president of the Wyoming Modelers Park Association. I would like for you to clearly understand that there's a difference between the association and the park itself. The Wyoming Modelers Park Association was formed in September of the year 2000. And I would like for the record to show that we appreciate the support we have had from the city, from the council, and from the community for the last 13 years. The city council has been very helpful in establishing and creating the park. You've been very cooperative in providing some of the building materials and helping us with the physical establishment of the park. I would also remind the council and all who are members here that this has been a three-way partnership between the state, which owns the land, the city, which leases that particular land, and Modelers Group, which is a private bunch of citizens, the association. So we have a three-way partnership, really, between state, city, and private enterprise in what's already there. We take pride and satisfaction, humbly, in what we've gotten done so far. And our president, Solly Cadman, just spoke to our training program for youngsters. Our former immediate past president, Dr. Rich Hart, has spoken to the facility itself, and I would like to urge you to think carefully about what has been done so far and what could be done in the future to enhance the city of Riverton. My personal private view, as many of you know, is that the city of Riverton needs green space on the north end of town. I believe the city of Riverton can grow in one of two directions, or perhaps both, and that's up or north. And if you think for a moment about our parks and green spaces in this city, we have no similar park green space on the north end of town. So it's our belief that we have a potential for a continuing valuable piece of property and activity there, and we hope that you will consider those factors as you consider this resolution. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Eddie. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council regarding this issue? Okay.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close the public hearing at this time. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I now declare the public hearing is closed. Would the city clerk please read resolution number 1281 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Resolution number 1281, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Riverton, Wyoming to submit an application to the Wyoming Business Council for a business-ready community grant for the purpose of funding the IDA Inc. Business Park.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion regarding this resolution.
Your Honor, I move that we adopt Resolution 1281.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 1281. Is there discussion?
Your Honor.
Yes, Councilman Fabian.
I would just, in the interest of full disclosure, I too am a member of the Modelers Park, and in having talked with the IDEA Inc. representatives, I do believe that should they end up owning this piece of land, they will do everything they can to ensure that that activity can continue here in Riverton. But I think it's worth noting the amount of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak, that has gone into that facility. It is, in my estimation, one of the nicest ones, perhaps in the region, but definitely in the state of Wyoming.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to? I was on the council in 2000 when the Modelers Park brought this forward, and it was received with some trepidation, I think, and it has grown into just a wonderful facility for the entire community of Riverton. I'm still a little bit disappointed that we don't have a Lake Amend out there. They promised me that they would have boats in the corner, but that never transpired. But you've done a remarkable job out there, men and women, and I don't see any reason why we can't continue that direction. But this is a little bit of a nervous time. I have an idea, if I were in your shoes, to be putting that into private hands and not knowing exactly where that's all going. I can understand everyone's nervousness about it, and yet it's something that I think it's really important for that piece of ground to get into the public hands. The main strip, not necessarily the Modelers Park, but that strip of ground, and it seems like that's part of the 302 acres, I believe it is, that is inclusive. So, it's good for me to hear that you feel comfortable with the direction that we're headed. It would bother me a lot if you were opposed to this, and then it would put us into a difficult situation. But I think I share your vision for the future there, and we don't know what the future does hold, but we're living optimism. So,
Thank you.
yes. Is there anyone else who would like to comment? Councilman Guard, anything? No? Councilman Smith? No? Councilman Baker? No?
Ready to vote.
All right. We have a motion and a second on the floor at this time. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor votes aye. Okay, congratulations, Alan. Now your work begins. Okay, agenda item number 10, public hearing and consideration of resolution number 1282, including the contingency and development grant, pitch engine BRC grant application for a managed data center. City Administrator's report, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The next two are very similar, and so I guess I'll see how I give the staff report because they're kind of intertwined. But Pitch Engine, a technology-based business that originated in Fremont County, has committed themselves to being a Wyoming technology business, is seeking to participate in the Wyoming Business Council Data Center Incentive Grant Program. And this is the whole grant is for managed data centers, which was amazing to me. Pitch Engine was founded by Wyoming native Jason Kinsler in 2008 and services more than 27,000 brands worldwide. Pitch Engine is headquartered in Fremont County with offices in Lander and Riverton. The company is applying for a business-ready community grant at a $2.25 million level to facilitate the development of a new data center facility in Fremont County. Pitch Engine plans to utilize the grant funds to build a high-visibility technology presence in central Wyoming that will attract and retain high-level technology workers to the state. The City of Riverton is applying for funds to be used by IDEA Inc., an eligible community development organization under state law, under contract with the City of Riverton for the construction of a building within the boundaries of the City of Riverton. The site and building will be owned by IDEA Inc. and leased to Pitch Engine. This would be the first data center in Fremont County and pave the way for future data centers and other technology businesses. The grant will help to defray the cost of broadband and electricity. This resolution is required to be adopted by the City of Riverton supporting this application. And so we support this and propose that you adopt Resolution 1282 and authorize the mayor to sign the contingency and development agreement.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. The chair would entertain a motion for the opening of the public hearing at this time regarding resolution number 1282.
Your Honor, I'd make the motion to open for public hearing 1282.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I now declare the public hearing is open. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes and other applicable laws. I would ask those individuals wishing to address the council to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record. Is there anyone wishing to address the council at this time regarding this issue?
Seeing none, I would move to close public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Would the city clerk please read resolution number 1282 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Resolution 1282, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the City of Riverton, Wyoming to submit an application to the Wyoming Business Council for a business-ready community grant for the purpose of funding the IDEA Inc. Pitch Engine Managed Data Center.
Okay. The chair would entertain a motion for the consideration of resolution number 1282.
Your Honor, I'd make a motion to consider 1282.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? Is there any discussion regarding this resolution? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor votes aye. And the motion passes. Agenda item number 11, public hearing and consideration of resolution number 1283, including the contingency and development agreement, Pitch Engine BRC, grant application for repurposing of existing building for a managed data center. City Administrator's report, please.
Yes, Your Honor. It's exactly the same except for the everything's the same in this resolution as the previous one, except that this grant is for the repurposing of an existing building to be modified to support the managed data center.
Okay.
And so that I guess I don't need to say any more. So we support and recommend adoption of 1283.
Chair would entertain a motion for the public hearing.
Your Honor, I move to open public hearing on Resolution 1283.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are now in public hearing. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes and other applicable laws. I would ask those individuals wishing to address the council to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this public hearing?
Seeing none, Your Honor, I would make the motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Would the city clerk please read resolution number 1283 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Resolution number 1283, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Riverton, Wyoming to submit an application to the Wyoming Business Council for a business-ready community grant for repurposing an existing building for Pitch Engine Managed Data Center to be owned by Idea, Inc.
The chair would entertain a motion for the consideration of resolution number 1283.
Your Honor, I would move that we approve resolution number 1283 at this time.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Is there a discussion on this issue?
Your Honor, I do have a question.
Okay.
Is this an either-or deal? Or are we talking about two completely separate, repurposing one building and building another one? Or are we talking about repurposing a building, and if we do that, then we don't need the other one?
I'm Phil Christopherson, the Executive Director of Idea, Inc. Your Honor, this is for repurposing a building. There's no building construction involved. It would be primarily two purposes. One is to get fiber optics and infrastructure to the building, and then second, changing the building so that it supports the data center. So there's no new construction.
But, okay, the question then is, it was resolution 1282.
1282 would go into the repurposed building.
Okay. All right.
Okay, is there any other questions for Mr. Christopherson? I would be interested in which building you're repurposing, Phil.
Right now, we are looking at the Brunton building. We're working with Phoenix Outdoors and Fiskars, who are the current leasers, to let Brunton have a portion of the building and let Pitch Engine have a portion of the building.
Okay.
So, and that agreement is almost in place.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Yes, Councilman Fabian.
If that fails to go through, is there a plan B for housing this data center?
There would be one that we would have to come up with, yes.
Okay.
You're very quick on your feet. Good. Okay, thank you, Phil. I guess there's no other questions. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor votes aye. Agenda item number 12, public hearing and first reading, ordinance number 13-009, source gas agreement. City Administrator's report, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The franchise agreement with Source Gas expired on August 4th, 2013. However, we will be under that current contract until this one is signed. Franchise agreements are regulated by state statutes, but some items we can negotiate as an entity. On July 12, 2013, staff presented some ideas to the City Council about what we felt should be changed in the agreement. Council agreed with that direction, was going and emphasized that we try to get our payments more often than once a year. Staff has been negotiating with Source Gas for the past couple of months. Included in the packet is a red line version which shows the changes that have taken place from the original agreement, and then there's also the clean copy in there too. And so I'll just highlight a few of the changes. Under Section 1, the length of the lease, it was changed from 25 to 15. Windows, our original agreement didn't have any windows. This agreement gives the right to the city at the end of each 5-year period to renegotiate the provisions of the ordinance. Then in Section 2, under approval, the current language says mains, services, and pipes shall be installed subject to the approval of the Committee of Streets and Alleys. We don't have such a committee, so we just changed that to the city administrator or his or her designee. Also, minute action was replaced instead of having to do a resolution every time. And then there was some additional language that was added to Section 2, and this has to deal with trying to replace bad lines when the city has an open trench. And this really was the concern related to our 1%. As we start to redo our roads, we want to have some sort of stability to say, hey, this line looks like it's kind of rough. You may come look at it. If it's determined to be fine, then it's fine. But we don't want to repave over that road and then find out later that a month later we've got to dig it up and replace a gas line there. Anytime you dig up a road and have those little cuts, it's never the same after that. So there was some language put in there. To me, it makes, I'm not a lawyer, but the lawyers seem to say it makes complete sense to what we're talking about. But to the actual layman, it's a little mucky. There's no change in the current per therm fee, so we're not changing anything in related to the franchise fee itself. The payments was the big one, and it was changed from annually to quarterly, and the payments are to be made within 30 days of each calendar quarter. And I would just like to thank Norm. He's here. He's been good to work with, having some flexibility, and we're able to get a good agreement put together. And so we recommend approval of this ordinance 13-009.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. The chair would entertain a motion for the public hearing regarding ordinance number 13-009.
Your Honor, I move to open the public hearing on ordinance number 13-009.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. I now declare that the public hearing is open. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes and other applicable laws. I would ask those individuals wishing to address the council to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record. Is there anyone that would like to address the council regarding this source gas issue?
Seeing none, Your Honor, I would move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor of closing the public hearing at this time signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Would the city clerk please read ordinance number 13-009 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. This is ordinance number 13-009 on first reading. An ordinance granting to Source Gas Distribution LLC, its successors, and assigns the right, permission, and authority to construct, maintain, and operate a gas transmission and distribution system, including mains, pipes, conduits, services, and other structures in, under, upon, over, across, and along the streets, alleys, bridges, and public places within the present and future corporate limits of the city of Riverton, Wyoming, for the furnishing, transmission, distribution, and sale of gas, whether artificial, natural, mixed, or otherwise, for lighting, heating, domestic, industrial, and other uses in said city and elsewhere, limiting the term of said grant, prescribing the terms and conditions under which said company may operate, and repealing ordinance numbers 98-008 and 05-001.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion for the consideration of ordinance number 13-009.
Your Honor, I'd make the motion to approve 13-009 source gas agreement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? My only comment, Mr. Weaver, I'm disappointed that you couldn't get the city a better rate with the gas company in this agreement, but it sounds like we're still on the hook there. So, but we do appreciate Norm's working with our staff, and I know they've been very pleased. I've heard them comment several times about how easy you've been to work with, and we really appreciate that. So, thank you. Okay, we've got a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Mayor votes aye. Good job, Stephen. Appreciate that. Agenda item number 14. Bid award for sewer jet truck. City Administrator's report.
Yes, Your Honor. Due to the age of our primary sewer jet, I think we've determined it's about 15 years old. It was necessary to budget for a newer one. This piece of equipment is critical to the city's fleet due to the function it serves. Serious EPA and health concerns can arise if this piece of equipment is not kept functioning properly. Staff advertised for proposals to bid on this sewer jet. One proposal was received and opened. It was Marek Sales in the amount of $303,071.50. This item was budgeted in the capital plan for our 2013-14 budget, and we're recommending approval of this bid.
Okay, thank you. Chair would entertain a motion regarding the sewer jet truck.
Your Honor, I'd make a motion to approve the purchase of the sewer truck.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there a discussion?
In your lead, Your Honor, in the email that we were just given, I believe today, wasn't it? Seems to be moving fast, but you said that the money that you had budgeted was for a truck that had dual ability for video and sewer, and now we're gonna look at purchasing a separate video truck.
That's right.
Okay, and we're still, according to your email, that still keeps us under budget, you think?
It does. I believe the other one we got quotes for was about 50,000, and this one's 303, so that'll keep us well under that 425 that was budgeted.
It's a little dangerous when we just have one bidder.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have more than a single bidder. Would there be any purpose for trying to get others involved in just a single purpose truck or not?
Well, I'll let Dawn explain that.
Your Honor, this jet has two motors, the primary motor that runs the engine and the secondary motor that actually runs the jetting function. It's the only one that's made that way. It's the past sewer jet has had that function. It saves wear and tear on the primary engine. So when we spec'd it out, we did spec it out with dual engines, and this VATCON is the only one that makes them with dual engines. So this would be the only one we would get if we did rebid it.
Your Honor,
Yes.
it appears the spec was written so tight that we only have one bidder, correct?
Good.
That's the way it works. I would still make the motion to approve. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion? I think on that kind of a piece of equipment, it certainly makes sense to have separate engines with different functions, and that certainly makes sense. Now, the camera truck is a completely separate truck, is my understanding, and I recall in about 2002 or 3, I think it was, that we were looking at the possibility of getting a camera, but I didn't realize that it had its own truck. At that time, I think it was just a camera with a snake that you could put in the shop, and then when you need it, you drug it out and shove it through. So apparently it's evolved to a whole specialized piece of equipment now. But given the amount of sewer lines and water lines and everything that we have, and the amount of money that we were spending on contracting to have that work done, even at that time, it made a lot of sense to me to, but I know the concern of Mr. Urbikite was at the time that having trained personnel to operate it was a concern at that time. Now, that may not be the issue now, but and so the camera side of the equation will be coming up in the future then, I presume.
Yes.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second on the floor regarding the jet truck. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor votes ayes. Agenda item number 15, county plat, replat of Red Fox Second Subdivision. Community Development Director's report, please.
I hope this is on now. This is a property that's located a quarter mile east of North 8th Street West and north of and adjacent to Webwood Road. The subdivision is outside of the city limits, but it's within the 1 mile jurisdiction that we have to look at county plats. The subdivision is proposed to increase the size of the existing Lot 1A owned by Terrence and Colleen Dunn so as to include an existing building which is now owned by Roberta Sparks, and it's located on the existing Lot 1. So all they are basically doing is enlarging the size of Lot 1A. All existing easements will remain in place. No additional easements are proposed. The Fremont County Planning Commission will review this plat on September 26th, and the utilities will be assessed at that time if they have any other changes that they would like to do with those. The Riverton Planning Commission did recommend approval of this plat on September 5th.
Okay. Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion regarding the replat of Red Fox Second Subdivision.
Your Honor, I would move that we approve the replat of the Red Fox Second Subdivision at this time.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Reports and comments. Council committee reports and council members roundtable. Councilman Smith, you want to lead off this evening?
Sure. No committee reports tonight, Your Honor, but I did have one comment. I wanted to wish everyone a happy Constitution Day. 226 years ago today, they signed the Constitution of the United States and developed a constitutional republic. And even with all our faults and problems, it's still the greatest form of government on the planet. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Councilman Fabian.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I'd just like to say how much I know all of our thoughts and prayers are with the people in Colorado dealing with the horrible flooding down there. I wish them all very well and have personally done everything I can to help them out, and hope that if any of you are inclined to do the same, that you would seek avenues through which to do that. Regarding committees, the animal shelter had their Paws and Pearls fundraiser this past Saturday night. The event went well. A special thank you to the Chief of Police, who served as the MC for the evening and did a remarkable job. It was quite wonderful. And just a big thank you to everybody who sponsored, donated toward, worked to set up, worked to tear down, and of course attended the event. We truly live in a generous community, so thanks to everyone for that. And I believe the regular board meeting for the animal shelter is scheduled for tomorrow evening, so that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Guard.
Your Honor, I did attend the Chamber's board meeting last Thursday. They seem to be doing well, working hard to advance Riverton. They do a wonderful job. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Baker. How's the mosquitoes?
Well, Your Honor, the mosquitoes are not too bad. They kind of collapsed. And so we don't have very high numbers in traps, and so we've kind of, I think maybe the mosquito season is drawing to an end. I was out working Saturday in my yard and had a couple chasing me around, but it wasn't like the hundreds that we had a month ago. So so that's pretty good. So I think we're probably there, although, you know, everyone is probably aware that this is maybe a record for West Nile virus, at least for the last 4 or 5 years. You know, we haven't had very many cases, and this year we really have quite a few. I think the count is up around 14 or 15 now, and so it is an interesting disease and kind of an interesting process about how the mosquito populations come and go, and how that's related to weather conditions and a lot of other factors, which birds show up first in the spring, and I mean, it's just really quite involved. So it's hard to predict what that looks like, but some folks are saying that we should have expected it this summer because of the outbreak in Texas last year. So it's kind of like a wave moving across the country. So we do have a pretty good challenge there. I think the city's still running the fogger, and maybe that'll keep up for another week until the temperatures drop. But once we get down to 40 degrees at night, we're probably probably out of the mosquito business.
You can't do anything about the elm bugs.
Yes, as a matter of fact, you can. I can't, but you can. Okay, just give me a call, Mayor, and we can fix you right up.
We've got more elm bugs in my house than you can shake a stick at. It's about ready to drive. She calls them dam bugs. And they're going to be the death of her, I think.
There are some insecticides that are systemic in plants that are reasonably effective for control. It doesn't make them go away forever, but it certainly stops the feeding on the plants and
yeah,
will reduce the number in your house.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Anything else?
The Injury Prevention Resources A-Team committee meets tomorrow, and to talk about alcohol-related topics in the community. There's a little confusion there. I got one notice that it was at 1 o'clock, and I'm planning to come there, and I got one today that says it's at 10:30, and I'm not going to make that one because I've got another meeting to attend. So if it has been moved to 10:30 in the morning, the chief will be the guy that has to cover that, I guess.
Your Honor.
Yes, Councilman Gardner.
I did call the prevention folks, and they said that they're both meetings they would like us at, but if not, if you had to choose, the 1 o'clock would be their preference.
Two different meetings. They're going to have two different meetings. Okay. Thank you. Well, I'll make that 1 o'clock then.
Okay, City Administrator's report, please.
Yes, Your Honor. I wanted to announce that our cleanup day that's coming up on October 19th, we got 3 different locations: City Hall, City Shop on Monroe, and the VFW Hall up on Main. And that'll be from 8 to noon. We're also going to be doing on Friday the 18th a treasure swap, and that's going to be here at City Hall, and you can bring all of your junk, and we'll have a certain area that will be taped off, and you can put it in there, and then people can come through and rummage through it and take whatever they want. And it's not like a swap meet that's set up for you to sell anything. It's all free. So you come and you get rid of it. The idea is we're trying to, what is someone's trash is someone's treasures. And so if we can get it out of the waste stream and give it to someone else before the next day where it just ends up in the dump, then I think we're accomplishing our goal in that. So I'd like to get the word out. We'll have flyers. We'll have some advertisements going out about that, and it should be a great time. The other thing I failed to bring up at the last meeting, and I wish Councilwoman Christensen was here, is that I was going to have the chief talk a little bit about school zones. There's maybe some misconceptions as to what you're supposed to do when you get a school zone, either on the weekend or when school's out or on the summertime. You know, what really is the law when it relates to the 20 miles an hour that you're supposed to be doing in a school zone. So I'm going to turn it over to the chief, and he can explain that to us.
Thanks, Mr. Weaver. Your Honor, really our school zones are pretty well posted. We went around and checked them a couple of weeks ago, prior to the start of school, just to make sure that they were posted consistently, and really they are. We found a couple of issues where trees had grown too close to signs perhaps, and we found one sign that was actually had a different time on it than all the rest in town. But our school zones are pretty well posted. They do apply every day from 7:30 to 4:30. The idea behind that being that schools are magnets for kids even on the weekends, that they go to activities there, or they go to the playgrounds there, and so those school zones in our community exist every day, even in the summer when school's not in session, under the idea that those schools are magnets for kids.
Okay, thank you. Okay, under Mayor's comments, my wife and I bought tickets to the sock hop or not the sock hop, the Pause for Pearls, and we ended up at the sock hop at the Methodist Church. So we missed the Pause for Pearls this year, and we've always enjoyed that. We could hear the noise out there of all the revelry, so it must have been a good time. But the Methodist Church had a fundraiser that we called a sock hop. In fact, Mr. Amend was one of our featured singers there, and that was a lot of fun, so we had a great time. Another thing that I was able to participate in, I went up to Buffalo last week to the Joint Revenue Committee meeting. They were meeting on the beer tax issue, and that's been something that I've been involved in for the last few years. They were not able to come to any agreement. There's obvious, the co-chairman, Ray Peterson, is very supportive of it and indicated that even though the joint interim committee did not vote to approve it or to carry it forward, that he was going to on his own, and is looking forward to having co-signers. So it should be an interesting discussion down at the legislature this year. It makes it a little more difficult if the Joint Revenue Committee is not supportive of it, but it doesn't mean that something still can't happen there, and I think that we need to just keep throwing mud on that fence, and maybe sometime in the future why it'll stick, and this might be the year. I've seen more traction on that issue this year than I've ever seen, and so I've received probably 4 or 5 telephone calls from newspapers across the state wanting interviews regarding it, and so you just do what you can do. But it's when you start looking at the numbers and everything, why the alcohol industry just needs to be cowboying up and helping to pay its share, I feel. That's my personal opinion. But one estimate I heard was the cost to the state due to alcohol-related problems was something like $148 million. And the revenue that alcohol brings into our state across the board, not just beer, but all alcohol, is about 14 million. It's 14 million and some change, so there's quite a spread there. If we were able to get the beer tax raised to the national average of 28 cents a gallon, it's now 2 cents a gallon that was put in place in 1935. But if we could get it raised to the national average, it would raise about $3 million, a little over. Right now, it's raising about $256,000, and there are legislators that feel like, well, it's not enough to even worry about. Let's just do away with all of the tax on it, which would add insult to injury, my feeling. But so it's an interesting battle, and I enjoyed the time spent with them. They had their lobbyist say again? Mike Mosier. How could I forget that? Had a brain cramp. But he was there, and he went so far as to suggest that he had read in one of the federal guidelines that alcohol in small amounts could be a health food. And so he was promoting it as a health food, which, I mean, it's just all over the place. I suggested when I had the opportunity to speak that if that's the case, we've got the healthiest community of any place in the state. So, at any rate, it's an interesting discussion. One other thing in the community that I wanted to bring up, I've been contacted by a couple people that we have citizens that will park their car on Main Street and just leave them in front of businesses for hours on end. And there are businesses out there that are trying to make a living in their shops, and so I think just as a consideration and sensitivity to a business owner, park for an hour or so and then move on, but don't leave your car there for 6-8 hours at a stretch. It's just being totally inconsiderate of our business people. So I really encourage people to do that. We don't have any signage on Main Street on that issue. On the side streets, we do have signage that limits the parking for 2 hours at a time, but we've got people that are just really abusing that, and that's too bad. It sets up a lot of negative dynamics that we don't need with our businesses. So,
Your Honor,
yes.
could I say
Councilman
something in that
Fabian.
vein too?
Absolutely.
I actually have had several elderly patients in my office who have complained that oftentimes the handicap parking on the side streets adjacent to Main Street are being taken up by people who are not displaying a placard. So please be considerate to the elderly and disabled in our community who truly do need that access.
I agree. Yeah. When they first came out with the curb cuts, I wasn't wildly enthusiastic about it. I worked for an agency that provided services to the blind, and for a blind individual, if you walk off of a curb cut, it's easy for you to walk right out into traffic and not realize that you're walking into traffic. And so that's when they came up with the little knobby things that they have on the curb cut so that you can supposedly tactily feel with your feet that you're walking across an area that's going out into the street. And so, when I see the number of people that are in wheelchairs and in the little electric scooters and whatnot, and they're able to just scoot around all over town, giving them the flexibility to move around, I think it was really a good thing. So, at any rate, why? Okay.
Your
Is
Honor?
there anyone else? Yes.
Your Honor, your discussion on the beer tax reminded me of another meeting that I attended, and that's the advisory committee for the Volunteers of America. And they reported at that meeting that since Volunteers of America has taken over the management of the Alcohol Crisis Center, they have placed 4 individuals into treatment programs in the state of Wyoming, and they have 3 other people who are now living in have been moved into halfway house settings where they're able to be pulled away from those temptations that bring them to drink, and so out of and that's 7 people. I think maybe in the previous year the Alcohol Crisis Center managed to do that with about 2 folks.
Great. That's good news.
So it's a real testament to a difference in philosophy first, but then secondly, the network that the Volunteers of America has that simply allows that to take place. And they will have a clinician on staff here in Riverton that will be able to do the pre-admit processing for treatment in about 3 days instead of the 3-month lag that we have seen in the past.
Well, I just know that we have to do something, that there's just too many citizens out there that are just caught in the grip of alcoholism, and we just have to figure out some way to deal with them. So, okay, there's no executive session this evening, is there, Mr. Weaver? Okay. Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn at this time.
I move we adjourn.
Second.